Well, you wouldn't just walk up and pitch someone to their face like you're seeing, oh, you look up, I do computer things. Will you buy from me? No. Welcome to Business Technicalities, and I'm going to mangle the title, so we're going to let Sean start with why we're here.
So I think we agreed that we're going to call this one Socially Connecting in Social Media.
Yes.
Actually, when you said that, you messed me up because I was thinking like, oh my God, wait.
We got to put Sean on the spot a little bit here because he's trying to, get Instagram famous and Monopoly rich.
Yes. Well, well, they equal each other, right? And the thing is it called Insta or the Gram? I've heard. I think it's Insta. It was Instagram, and then it became Insta, and then it became the Gram.
What do the kids call them these days? I'm not sure.
I think it's the Gram.
It's the Gram.
My kids, I think they call it the Gram, which I was thinking like graham crackers, and I get hungry as soon as they say it.
And I think Graham had a different context when we were growing up.
I'm pretty sure. You're referring to Alexander Graham Bell, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Positive.
Yes.
But the thing that's really important is connecting with people on platforms. We're going to kind of focus on LinkedIn, but it's about creating real engagement and avoiding those empty, stupid, I do these services, instant replies you give to people when you connect with them, and how those don't do anything but annoy me. And well, they earn you on a block list. So, I mean, they do get you further with me. I engage with them by blocking you if you send me one of those. So
correct. Well, let's go back to how this conversation started. Why it was important. I mean, you and I are both active on social media in general because it's a good way to broadcast things you have going on and to engage and learn other things. But you and I were at Channel Pros in Chicago, and we went through and we both were questioning. Let's go to the social media piece that they were having because we both thought it would be BS because a lot of them are, and it ended up being quite insightful, at least on one side of and at the end of this, everybody that's watching, that's going to watch this, know that we're actually going to share our scores and see who wins.
Yes.
On the
Your
LinkedIn
social selling index is what they call it. SSI.
Yes, which is through LinkedIn. So we're actually going to physically do it real time. We're going to share. I'm gonna let Tom go first because he's older. I think I'm older. I don't know. One of us is older, but for this particular reason, Tom's older, so he's gonna go first, and then I'm gonna go second. But we're gonna see who wins out of that. In the meantime, though, the reason why we did this is because we went through this, and it really made us go back and think. Like, we're doing this show because we know we want to get content out. We want to try to help people, but we do this. You and I do this often, and we know a lot of our friends don't, and they're looking to grow their business. They're looking for good practices. In a nutshell.
A lot of it starts with just being friends with people. You're not out there, and too many people want to. Here's the perfect LinkedIn pitch. No, there's not. That's kind of a myth. It's not about a pitch. If you looked at me and Sean, we actually kind of were surprised how high our scores were. But if you notice or follow me on LinkedIn, and if you don't, hey, I'm right down below. You can connect with me or Sean. But it's more about how we engage with people and kind of just being friendly. You think about it from a friendly standpoint. You wouldn't just walk up and pitch someone to their face like you're seeing, oh, look up, I do computer things. Will you buy from me? No. And you got to think about it. Social media is a different platform. Yes, it's digital. Yes, you're connecting people not in the meet space. You're dealing with them in a digital realm, but still the human condition is the same. We want to be friends with people. We want to chat. We want to have a conversation around a topic or something, that's engaging. It might be interesting. It might be funny. I usually lean towards the funny because I just like memes so much. So some of my LinkedIn stuff, is occasionally sharing memes that have nothing to do they're in the realm of what I do inside of tech, but that's it. As a matter of fact, I was actually laughing. Sean's profile pictures in a Christmas suit. So
it is because
it's a conversation starter.
Right. Okay. So let's think about it. COVID took place. Everybody went remote, right? No conferences were happening, no networking meetings, no nothing. So if you're not, and how many sales reps and marketing people are built around that way of doing business? It was a hybrid, obviously, when social media came about, but it was a hybrid where it was very, very much less in social digital media marketing than it was in physical location in front of somebody marketing and sales. So let's talk about it both ways, not just marketing, but also sales and relationship building, because that's what it does. So how many people struggled and suffered from that? I know for me, we had a bunch of conferences lined up to go to in 2020, and all of a sudden, nothing. So we had to rework and reframe ourselves and build out something that was going to make sense to generate relationships and interest and whatnot. And honestly, it was very difficult to do it where it became a full-time job. Some people are built for it. I mean, that's why people like, I'm from Pittsburgh, and Antonio Brown was a Steeler, and he hired a social media person that followed him. This was years ago, years and years ago. And everybody's like, that's so stupid. So smart. The dude acted like, I mean, he presented and posted everything as if it was Antonio Brown doing it. We take pictures of him and he'd write simple, personalized color commentary. And Antonio Brown became one of the most popular receivers before he became crazy, but he became one of the most popular receivers. Why? Because of that. So for some people, it's an art form that they're good at. For some of us, it's not. So I just treat it as a regular conversation. I don't need to be face to face.
Yeah. And you got to remember, before you would go to an event, meet in person, and you'd say, hey, connect with me on LinkedIn. And you would maybe pull up your LinkedIn profiles and you would start to engage like that. LinkedIn was a follow up, but now it's turned a lot. And even though some of these events are still coming back, if you're good at embracing it, and the people that were well positioned and they grew their businesses, they grew their networks quickly because they were already well positioned and understood how to take advantage of social media. So one of the things that we're really here to talk about is the things we do to take advantage of that, so I can connect with more people. And I'm someone who didn't go to a lot of conferences, so I used and leveraged social media. I just put the camera on myself. I wasn't fancy enough to hire someone to follow me around and do it, but the concept's still the same.
Right. We actually posted a video of you and I not having a cameraman while in Chicago. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah. We didn't get the video out there yet because that's got to be edited. So as of the moment, depending on what future you're in, the future right now, our present, it hasn't been done yet. So we'll be done soon now.
Let's talk about the importance real quick too. Like, you're looking for numbers. It's a lot of large numbers, right? So Statista they put out in 2020 even, and this is during the boom of digital transformation, that you have 3.78 billion social media users worldwide. Okay, that's ridiculous. And I think it's somewhere like 55% of consumers shop through social media at this point.
Yeah,
so
and they shop through their friends, not through advertising. That's a huge thing. It's a
correct.
distinction you have to understand, because people buy from people they like, not just from ads they see. So when you have a large network of people who know who you are, you're more likely to get referred, because cool, you can run an ad campaign on whatever, let's say pay-per-click through Google. You're spending 10K a month. And yes, I know people in tech industry that spend 10 to 20K a month on Google ads. And then here I am, someone goes, oh yeah, that Tom guy, he's always posting stuff about tech and stuff, like, here, let me connect you. He seems like he's engaging, and you start helping him with that. Way different. And they're all, trust me, everyone is online now. Like,
yes,
a percentage of the planet is online.
Right. By the way, for that stat I just gave you, if you guys want, this is actually a blog from Ring Central. That's the link right there for you all.
We'll leave in the description below if you want to dive into more of the stats. That'll be in the description.
Absolutely. There's a couple that I'll share, and I'll give you guys these things. We can always share this stuff from time to time in all these videos. At least that way it's not just Tom and Sean saying this. I mean, although I think we're the smartest people in the world. well, my world is very small. Once I leave this room. But yes, smartest person in my world. I mean,
in each of our respective rooms.
Yes, I mean, my dog is laying next to me, Henry. He's like snoring, so I beat him basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we can leave this stuff in there for you guys. But let's go back to what you just said. It's about the getting stuff pushed out there. Just one thing I realized: people have a failure to launch. Right? They're afraid to launch. How many people do we talk to in groups that we're in that just are saying, "Well, what do I post? I'm not going to post because I don't want to post." It's like, post whatever. There's a line that says, that perfection is the enemy of good. Right?
Yeah, very much so.
Oh my God, yeah. Because then you don't do it. You're trying to perfect it. So good, when it happens, you don't launch it. You don't birth your baby. You don't do. So my advice to everybody is post whatever. As long as you're not defaming somebody and insulting people, you're not really going to get too much. You may get 0 likes or shares or comments, but at least get in the practice of saying something, and also comment on other people's stuff.
There's LinkedIn really favors when you're doing engagement, when you add to the conversation, and you have to actually add something a little bit more engaging. Take the time to read the post, and maybe you have a thought on it. Now, don't go insult the person, offer constructive criticism. I have definitely done that a few times, but that's always a learning opportunity to engage and have conversation. And these conversations are like any conversation you would have standing at an event, standing there with a cocktail, talking about it and things like that. So it's just thinking about it from that perspective. You can't come in looking for an angle of how you can plug everything else. But if you are engaging with that conversation, now you're starting to go, okay, I kind of get the feel for it. And it is a little awkward. I actually do a little better online than I do in person. I just kind of stand around awkwardly in person. So that's, it was easy at the last event because a lot of people know who I am from YouTube. So people came up to me. If not, I'll stand around and look around.
It's the first time I ran out with a celebrity. I felt so like, I thought I was your handler or bodyguard, or I don't know what I was, but like the actual best comment was the guy that came up and started talking to us. I forget his name right now. And he's like, and he was real weird at first about, he's like, he was kind of like not sure about himself. And he goes, hey, I watch your stuff. I love your stuff. And then he looks over at me and goes, oh, you're the one with the Nirvana Hansen shirt. You're that guy. I mean, that's on the Nirvana shirt. It's like, my God. I'm like,
now Sean's the guy with the Nirvana shirt.
I'm Nirvana with Hansen on it. Like and that's like, oh, I like your stuff too. Well, thanks. I'm called Sean. Me, Sean.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a bit odd. So let's give an example even. I know we have some examples here. I'll share the screen here. So we talked about posting stuff. Now, for us on the ConnectWise side, we started this thing called Pitch It, which has been happening for the last several years, but we wanted to put some muscle under it, put some legs to it by starting some social sharing, social posting, and start to engage in the community. This is all LinkedIn based right now. So the reason why I wanted to start sharing these types of things is because, you can see where Louis, that works for our event team at ConnectWise, that's part of this Pitch It group, he put out a post and announcing who some of the coaches were going to be, cameo coaches and whatnot, tagging them and whatnot. And you can actually see here the statistics around his engagement down below. You can see that on every single thing you ever see, which is important because then you can start to track your engagement and what works for you. Now, what ended up working for us in this way was simply because we had the ability to tag, and it's engaging as all hell ultimately.
Yeah, you have so many views, you look at the reaction numbers, and you can kind of measure where that's going. And this is something you're looking at, and you go back, and tagging the other people is also an easy opportunity to get those people to go, hey, I'll share it out to my network too, because I'm interested and I'm vested in this thing that someone has tagged me in of sharing information. I do this quite a bit when someone does something, or if you collaborate with someone on a project, make sure you tag them. Me and my friend Jay from Learn Linux TV, when we do our posts and things like that, that's how we share amongst and leverage each other's networks to do this. It's really that simple.
Absolutely. You have to. And that's a good point, actually. Leverage your friends. Your friends are here. I mean, everybody's here to help each other to do this. So people they're going to work with you and help you get the word out, you do so. I mean, and actually, here's another post right here. And it's another one about our cameo coaches involved in it. And you can see these are people actually with social followings to a degree as well. They're well respected in the industry and people will listen to what they have to say. So when you're posting these things, you can see that the engagement is going up too. You're seeing right here, you're seeing 1,400 views rather. You can see how many people liked. And there's no comments on this one, but a ton of reactions. And you can start, again, you're just looking to track this stuff. So if you're looking for, and you should have KPIs, that actually takes you to the point of KPIs of knowing what is success.
Yeah. What are your key performance indicators of when you're doing it? Start benchmarking it. And at first, especially when you start doing any of this, you're not going to get big numbers, but you're going to slowly watch those numbers grow. And it's the way you start tracking it. And we'll get to some of the social selling score later in the video, but these are those things you're looking for and some of the key indicators so you can kind of gauge what's engaging and what's not.
Absolutely. And then, and again, just to go through another one here, you can see now this is where it starts becoming more successful with people. These are some of the people that actually were involved in it, that are contestants, that are actually, this is happening now. This is one of the guys that made it, their company made it as a contestant to pitch it. And now they're sharing and now they're tagging. And you can see, here's my name right here. So obviously they're tagging me. This also helps me in getting more involved with the community, getting more exposure, getting more engagement. And this is the key to it. And it's just friends and family. That's all it is at the end of the day. And again, another one doing it, Binox putting it out there. So we did all these things and we made sure everybody was comfortable. And that was what the important piece to this was. And for you, this is to you, Tom, and you're in your YouTube channel, you're constantly engaged with, when you're doing your other YouTube channel, you're always talking about products.
Yeah.
You're talking about, so you're already talking about other stuff too, which engages in that community, in that company.
And when we do, we talk about products and we engage sometimes by tagging the vendor in there. And so, and by the way, a lot of the times we're not always working directly with the vendor to make the videos. I keep a very unbiased opinion of it, but I'm not here to crap on their product, but I still tag them in it, even occasionally when I'm critical of their product. But it's still, the point is I keep this level of engagement with them. And if it's positive, they'll generally reshare it. And most of the time, I won't even bother. If I hate a product, I generally don't review it. That's been my rule. Because why bother? I'm not here just to be the negative person. There's plenty of things I won't use, and I don't have time to go review a bunch of things I'll never use and don't like anyways. So generally, you get a lot of buy-in from vendors going, "Oh, cool, he talked about our product or talked about use case," and especially a lot of my use cases, open source products. So when it comes to that scenario, it's different again because open source communities don't always have the level of marketing teams, being that they're open source. They may not have the budget or funding or a bunch of VC capital behind them. So by engaging with that, that's another way when you talk about these products. By the way, what does that do in terms of my social engagement? Well, people want to engage me because obviously I've taken the time to understand these products. I've proven that I understand something about technology. So people may ask other related technology questions. And that's, once again, you're just creating engagement. And ultimately, a lot of my goals, especially with my main channel, is just getting more education out there. So when you always come at it from that perspective, I'm always just trying to put solutions out there for people because I think that's just a fun way to be. And maybe they'll hire me for something at some point. I don't know. Even if they don't, it's still fun. I start with, let's make some friends. That's actually a great, I've done so many free talks at all these different events just because
Who's going to hire you? I'm just curious.
someone.
Someone. It's like you're looking for your parents.
Yeah, someone. Yeah.
Mommy?
Someone
Mommy?
might hire, I don't know.
Oh
Somehow
my.
I built a career out of doing this way. Because even before social media was in the mainstream, as a matter of fact, we were putting a slide deck together. I got people actually end up hiring me eventually to do this. Was I would go together and put these events at colleges, and I would speak to how to use some of the really cool new features that Google was rolling out in the early days of Google when they were doing the G Suite stuff and the way you could do it. But that's all. I just started sharing all the knowledge, and eventually goes, so well, can we have you set all this up over here? Started all with this just being social and wanting to give with no expectation to receive back. You just want to throw it out there, and you play LinkedIn. Play, it's not the right word. You use LinkedIn in the same way. You just keep that
Really?
same.
Because 49% of consumers claim that they depend on influencers' recommendations on social media to inform their purchasing decision. And that's from 2018.
Yeah, I bet that number's higher today.
Right. That's a 2018 stat. That's when I was just looking, I was like, holy heck. And as you were saying that, that's so spot on, right?
Yeah. That it's become, we always know the sales pitch from the people who make the product is our product is the one you should use. So when you have someone who might be a little unbiased in there, and being a recommender, you get a little bit different of perspective on it. So I get that. I get that stat.
I get it too. Well, again, back to you said earlier about we were talking about friends and family and what you do and how you engage. Any company I've ever worked for, I mean, obviously I just talked about ConnectWise a bit, but the reality is anytime I speak, I don't speak about ConnectWise. I speak about whoever we're dealing with as a guest. I speak about
Yep.
whatever's going on in the market. I speak about sales and marketing stuff like this most times because that's really my background. My background is building brands, and creating social and creating sales and marketing processes and how to take people to market with that stuff. That's really where I dwell. So technologies are a byproduct of just what I need. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not technology focused. My technology is just to support the automation of things, whether it's being a CRM or a marketing automation platform, or even a social media platform like Hootsuite or something you can use, or Post Beyond, that's probably something we should add to this at some point, is like a hit list of products that people should look to use for simplicity at different levels of their organization.
Yeah, there's ways some levels of it can be automated, but you still have to be genuine with your engagement when you go through on LinkedIn. I will admit though, there is a balance that's hard to find. Me and Sean were just talking about sometimes you get to take a day off of you spend too much time posting social and you don't get any real work done because sometimes I actually have real work I do.
Really,
I know
if you say
it's not
so.
just social media all day and memes. Although I'm trying to figure out how it can be.
I think memes are a good way to communicate. Sometimes gifs and memes are my favorite.
They are.
They answer. I could have a whole conversation in gifs, to be honest, or gifs, depending on where you're located. I've been
Yep.
lectured about that. Even though it's not Giphy, it's Jiffy with a J. So I never
Yeah.
understood how G and gifs could be GIF. I don't know, but
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, no, dude, I totally can't. Um, I use social media to balance out my workday for a couple of things. I get to read what's going on within our industry, and I get to comment on things and share things and stay part of the community when you don't see anybody. I mean, again, I work in my attic.
Yep. And I'm in a basement, so
You're basically. I was just thinking, I was like, I'm upstairs or down. And
yeah,
actually, but
but
not
not in
the
the
same
same
house.
house.
No,
He's in Pittsburgh. I'm in Detroit, so
not the same house. I mean, could be, but not
could
really.
be.
I mean, I've seen Tom in my window a couple, and my tree next door a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
times. But whatever. Okay, so we have other stuff to share, right? I believe.
Yes.
So let's talk. So we talked about the engagement from all those other ones that were all, and this is the difference. Those were personal, but those were about professional, right?
Yeah.
And when we talked to Jay McBain, he talked about personal things that he shared that were the ones that were the most heavy hitting, like where was his daughter's graduation from Baylor or acceptance, whatever it is, but how much engagement he got and how big it was, right? Because it was personal. So I have my own right here. So this was, I wrote this article, I published it, well, I wrote this post and published it on LinkedIn 10 months ago, as you can see. And it was from when my daughter was having my granddaughter. And I wrote it about, and there's obviously a whole article behind this. It was actually about everything I needed to sell or do my job from a local place. And I even created a pool. And you can see the amount of everything from comments to likes to how many votes I got, even on if it was a boy or girl, which by the way, I added that pool on afterwards. I wrote the article before the baby's even born and posted, and I still had 11,000 views within one post.
Yeah. And that's the thing, you can still be, to an extent, personal on there and share those things. Share some of the events. I had actually gotten a lot of engagement talking about things I'd done in the past. Jay McBain talked a lot about, statistics and things like that, but he is someone who knows how to share some of the personal stuff in there in a way that's engaging, because he talked about how much detail he's shared about his life online. And I thought
Oh
that
my
was,
goodness. And the fact he looks like Tom Cruise,
oh yeah, that too.
that's kind of freaky.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
a
leave a
little.
link to that. It's on the channel. We'll leave a link to that particular one.
Oh, let me stop share. I'm still sharing, huh? I guess I'll stop sharing that. Remove. Next. So, and also I'm gonna put this is to that post. If you guys want to see,
This will be
um,
linked down below.
yes, I have it in the banner too for you.
Yeah.
So
No
yeah,
one's
we're
going to
we're,
copy that
we're
out
actually
of
doing stuff. Tom and I are kind of off our games. We're doing stuff here. We actually prepped this one.
a little bit.
A little bit. So that's actually the link. I could have probably condensed it. I don't know why the whole source is there for this. This is crazy. I'm removing
Yeah.
it now. I don't know why it's doing all that. That's weird. Anyway, so on my LinkedIn post, if you want to read how he wrote it, again, I'm not saying I'm not the expert of all writers, that's for sure. But that's my point. I'm pretty awful at it, and I wrote that and had engagement, and also take pictures. People love pictures. People love seeing themselves in pictures.
Yes. That's actually a fun one. Is when we went there, the few photos I did take, and Sean's way better at this. Every event he goes to, take some pictures, tag those people in those pictures. This is other ways to create engagements. It, for me, because of the way I remember things, and I struggle to remember people's names, it is extremely helpful to remember people's names that way.
I mean,
Then I see them.
I'm looking at a post right now from you at the Channel Pros in Chicago. Or actually, this is Zach Hill. He posted and tagged you.
Yeah.
And there's 182 likes or reactions and 7 comments, right? I mean, that's a big deal. Like from just and actually, Zach isn't like a huge LinkedIn he's not a huge LinkedIn guy. He's not like a huge ambassador of everything. So it's a pretty big deal, I'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, you gain a lot of engagement that way. You gain a lot of friends. Matter of fact, I've had you chatting, Zach, and we're going to do some videos together. So
Zach, I'll be involved too. I'll just watch.
you just watch. Yeah, he talks a lot about career stuff. So we'll talk a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, he wants me to do stuff with him too on that to talk about a career. That's right. Yes.
Yep. He's the career guy. He helps people get careers. So eventually at that, it's not always about starting a business. Sometimes it's about there. But once again, how are we connecting with them? LinkedIn. It's about being social. It's about the tagging in a photo. Help me remind me of who Zach is and what he does and etc.
So like, dude, in my ever pursuit of just being on LinkedIn now, I actually found another Tom Lawrence.
Oh.
Wait, this guy looks way cooler though.
Oh. No.
He looks like the world's most interesting man.
Oh.
Does he not? Seriously.
That is not me. In case anyone's trying to connect with Tom Lawrence on LinkedIn, I'm not that one.
But look how cool he looks,
Yeah,
right?
he's
Like
way more distinctive. He's got that beard's way better than mine.
his beard. He's like Wolfman Jack meets like I'm this world's most interesting man. He's probably sipping a cognac with a Cuban cigar and
Yep.
literally doing nothing else but that, but give him great advice of life for people, and they're making $1 million off of what he has to say.
It seems like that'd be the right person for that.
But he's really a CEO of Dialysis IQ. That's
Oh, that's great. Now, should we talk about some social scores?
Oh yeah. Dun, 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 dun,
I'll
dun.
put mine up there first.
So let's explain what this was. Okay.
Yes.
So you already let your cat out of the bag. You see, Tom.
I didn't build up to excitement on this. So I want to get this out here because I want to talk to the numbers a little bit.
Tom gets so excited about these things. Like, oh, like I usually take shiny things with me and laser pointers. So we sat through that class, right? And the this SSI score is really built off of your score collectively on LinkedIn of how your profile is score to date. So it's actually gamification, right?
Yeah.
And what I like about it is that, and they were told us how to do this. So for those of you that want us to do this, all you have to do is, and we'll put the link in the bottom. You go to www.linkedin/ or linkedin.com/sales/SSI.
Yeah.
And that'll take you to this screen. And yeah, so Tom's overall score, and I'll let you talk about it. So I don't steal your thunder now.
Yeah. No, this is. So I made the top industry 1%er, but this is where things get a little confusing, and I'm gonna hire maybe someone to advise me on this because this is where me and Sean have both scratched our heads, and we did talk to the advisors, and even we realized it's a little bit mysterious. Like for some reason, it says my personal brand isn't completely filled out, and it says I haven't found all the right people because each one of these scores, we're in the top 1% being it. Like I'm 69. I think Sean's got a little bit higher of a score here. He's going to show, but it's still interesting the way it works, and it gives you an idea of where you stand. And I realize if you're some of the people you're talking to, like the building relationships, I'm good at because I engage with so many people. So I got my full 25 points there. Engage with insight. I guess I'm not quite as insightful. I'm good at relating to them, but not being as insightful. So it's looking at, how you respond to things and are they insightful comments. The find the right people one, I'm not sure how to find more of the right people. That one always seems to be a fuzzy one. I have a feeling it's of who I'm connected with in my industry to get that. And then the filling out the profile one, I don't know why. I think it's because there's just not enough on my profile. So that's where I need a LinkedIn professional to give me understanding on that one there. I got a 19.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's continue on with this because I have questions. Right. Yeah. And let me share my screen instead. And so, yes, the answer is yes, I beat Tom. I'm at 71. But Tom beat me in industry SSI rank. He's in the top 1%, I'm in the top 2%. So I'm confused by that, right? Because if I looked at your numbers and I remember them right, you were at 19. We're tied here.
We're tied there.
I'm beating you here. I'm beating you here, and we're tied here.
Yeah.
That's so why is it, I don't. Well, here you go. Look at this. People in your network have an average SSI of 47. What does yours say? Because maybe it's guilty by association.
People have an average SSI of 40.
You're lower than me. All right. And even the category next to you're at 30. I'm at 32. Yours said 30 on the
Yeah,
right
people in your industry.
Yeah, so I like to know. And by the way, for everybody, that means we have really good scores. So you're clear, but we're just not great. We're just really, really good. So we have a lot of work to do because I think you can get you're obviously out of 100. Well, I'm sitting at 71, but when we went to the class, they said, hey, 71.
They're really 71's good. They've heard of 80s. They've never seen a 90.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. So I would really like if somebody out there, expert wise, I went down. Okay, so my rank went down from 1% to 2%. I went down 1% last week.
But let's pivot the conversation because you just watched people who don't understand the score very well, but also succeed on LinkedIn. the score isn't everything. So
Yes.
I want to admit the humility. We're not telling you we're experts at the score. We're telling you we don't know the score, but yet we've found a lot of success through LinkedIn, through these connections we've made, through all the people we meet with and everything else. So at the end of it all, the takeaway I want for you, even if you don't have the best score, doing everything as we mentioned, talking about how we socially engage, keep commenting with people and everything else. We have found success through LinkedIn. I know Sean because of LinkedIn. So
That's how we became friends, is through social media.
yeah,
Realistically, I mean, that's how we became friends.
we only ever met in person once. So
Yes, at Chicago. And and like Bob Ross says, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. But just
yep.
actually, I put this shirt on. I wasn't thinking about our thing today. So it was, I think, actually, considering you just brought it full circle. And Bob Ross is a genius. He's basically the guru of, I mean, okay, let's use him. The dude takes paintbrushes and a fro and becomes one of the most famous painters ever and entertainers. I mean, he makes magical pieces, that's for sure. But he gives advice, and he's like so calm. He definitely had to have been stoned or something, but
I don't know. He did such a great job of it.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, that's some of our takeaways from it. So there's some action items here. Even if you don't completely understand your SSI number, like these two guys don't, we have found success without understanding those numbers.
Yes, exactly. And I would like to, if somebody is watching this that knows how to do this, please let us know how.
Reach out to us because we're always interested in that.
Yeah, and we'll bring you on, and you can educate everybody and tell us why I'm in the top 2% with a higher score than Tom on everything, which means I'm better, obviously. And two, how does Tom do what they say to do and he doesn't get increased? Just curious. Right. I want to know.
These are things we still need to figure out. But in the meantime, go post on LinkedIn, go connect with people. Don't just start pitching your stuff, and have fun. Enjoy. Make some smiles. Post a meme. Just don't be offensive, and don't be an ass. That's just It's really, those are really simple rules to follow.
Man, you're like Confucius. You're amazing.
All right.
How about we do this? How about we do this? Put this to the test. When we get this video out, we'll post on LinkedIn. If we'll give it a couple weeks, and we'll bring it back to see what the activity is on this.
We'll try. And we'll post it again on LinkedIn, because sometimes you can repost content you've done before, because as you build a new network of people, they haven't seen it before, so you can repost your old content.
Absolutely.
There's a pro tip. You don't always have to have new content. So
no, because old content is new content for new people.
Yep.
Oh,
all right. Thank you. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And we'll leave links to things we talked about down below.